What if the digital world you trust is actually a carefully designed trap? What if the technologies we celebrate, Bitcoin, the internet, even artificial intelligence, weren't just breakthroughs but tools engineered to monitor, control, and reshape our lives? Today, we're diving deep into a provocative idea that our digital future might not be as free or decentralized as we've been led to believe. Since its mysterious appearance in 2008, Bitcoin has been hailed as the future of money, a decentralized system beyond government reach. But few have stopped to ask, who really created it, and why? While the world became fascinated with blockchain, cryptocurrency, and decentralization, a much darker narrative has quietly emerged. Could Bitcoin, like the internet before it, be part of a vast surveillance and control strategy? Bitcoin's origin story feels almost mythical. A mysterious figure named Satoshi Nakamoto published a white paper and released code that would transform global finance. It was open, transparent, and seemingly leaderless. Yet building such a system requires expertise, infrastructure, and funding, resources far beyond the reach of a lone programmer. When we follow the breadcrumbs of technological innovation, one organization repeatedly appears at the source, DARPA, the research arm of the Pentagon. This is the agency responsible for creating the foundations of the Internet, GPS, and countless other transformative technologies. Why wouldn't they also be involved in something as revolutionary as blockchain? Here's the uncomfortable truth: the Internet wasn't just a gift to humanity. It was, and still is, the most powerful surveillance network ever built. Every search, every message, every transaction leaves a digital fingerprint. Over time, this data builds a comprehensive profile of who we are, what we do, and what we believe. If you're skeptical, imagine this: if in the 1970s the Pentagon had openly announced, "We built the internet, please use it," the public would have rejected it outright. Instead, faces like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and later Mark Zuckerberg became the friendly frontmen of a digital revolution. People trusted these innovators. And trust was all it took for billions to willingly step into a system of near-total transparency. Bitcoin fits this pattern perfectly. Marketed as a tool of freedom and anonymity, it has ironically become the preferred medium of exchange for activities, drug trade, arms dealing, terrorism, that are already deeply entangled with intelligence operations. The same agencies accused of covertly funding destabilizing movements abroad suddenly have a technology tailor-made for tracking and managing illicit finance. Could Bitcoin be the Pentagon's Trojan horse, a decentralized network built precisely so no one suspects its central architect? Consider the Winklevoss twins, famous for their legal battle with Mark Zuckerberg over Facebook. After their settlement, they invested virtually every cent into Bitcoin, becoming billionaires in the process. Was this just brilliant foresight, or did they understand something about Bitcoin's origins and future that the public did not? But Bitcoin may only be one layer of a larger strategy. Throughout history, power has been consolidated not just through armies and economies but through ideas, especially religious and esoteric ones. Some analysts speculate that our world's most chaotic events are not random at all but steps toward fulfilling hidden prophecies. Take for example the controversial effort to breed genetically perfect red heifers in Texas and transport them to Israel, an event many link to ancient prophecy about rebuilding the Third Temple on the Temple Mount, which would require the destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Such an act would ignite global outrage and unite billions of people against Israel, yet there are powerful factions seemingly working toward this outcome. Why? For believers in apocalyptic prophecy, such conflict isn't a danger, it's a goal. Look closely at major historical events, JFK's assassination, 9/11, even more recent incidents, and you'll notice strange numerical and symbolic patterns. Sacred numbers like 11, 22, and 33, Masonic landmarks, ritualistic timing, these elements recur with uncanny consistency. Are they coincidences, or clues to a hidden framework guiding global events? Behind these events may lie a deeper battle, not between nations or ideologies, but between worldviews. For most of human history, cultures taught that consciousness creates reality and that humans carry a divine spark within. Modern power structures invert this idea. They teach that matter is primary, that life is accidental, and that consciousness is nothing more than neurons firing. This worldview makes people easier to control because it fosters fear, competition, and dependency on external authority. NASA, nuclear weapons, space exploration, all these monumental achievements reinforce a purely material view of the universe. Meanwhile, transhumanism, the push to merge humans with machines and seek digital immortality, may represent the ultimate step in this inversion. In many spiritual traditions, death is seen as a release, a chance for the soul to reflect and renew. But if death itself can be hacked, then even the divine spark within humans can be trapped, altered, and corrupted. Control doesn't require chains or prisons. It only requires control over perception. If enough people believe the material world is all there is, if they internalize fear and scarcity, then the system maintains its power effortlessly. Dialectics, capitalism versus communism, freedom versus security, decentralization versus surveillance, are tools to guide public thought. Each new debate subtly narrows our view of what's possible, keeping us locked inside a framework built by others. We're already seeing the next stage: digital IDs, centralized digital currencies, biometric tracking. These measures are being rolled out in the name of convenience and security, but they also create a blueprint for total control. Microchips under the skin, programmable money, and algorithmic social scores could soon define daily life. This might sound like science fiction, but the infrastructure is already being tested in multiple countries. Yet there's a paradox. Power, for all its reach, lacks imagination. Bureaucracies can impose systems, but they cannot predict how creative, spontaneous, and unpredictable ordinary people can be. Immigration policies, digital currencies, even social media have all produced unintended consequences that destabilize the very elites who championed them. The real battle isn't just in governments or corporations, it's inside each of us. Every day we choose between materialism and meaning, between fear and freedom. The push toward transhumanism and total surveillance may appear unstoppable, but history shows that systems of control eventually collapse under their own weight. Empires rise and fall. Bureaucracies overreach and fail. Ideas, however, endure. If power today is built on inversion, on making matter greater than spirit, then our greatest act of resistance is remembering the opposite, that consciousness shapes reality, that the spark of the divine is within us, and that fear is not inevitable. By reclaiming our imagination, we reclaim our power. The technologies shaping our future, Bitcoin, AI, digital identities, are not inherently evil. But their potential for misuse is staggering. Whether they become tools of liberation or instruments of control depends on how aware we are, how vigilant we stay, and whether we remember that we are more than just matter in motion. The real war for the future is not just out there in the world, it's in the stories we believe, the values we hold, and the reality we choose to create.